Hi, this is Claudia from Unit. Thanks for joining us in our Need Alone. Today we have our friend Nikoleta with us. I'm going to introduce Nikoleta. Nikoleta has been working with us in the store for the last 9 years. I met Nikoleta the day that we opened the store. We have like a little party, and that day I realized that the work was a lot because there was a lot of people in the party. So I approached Nikoleta because she looks so animated with so much yarn in her hands, and I thought that girl probably loved to knit. And then I went and asked Nikoleta, you know anybody? I didn't know her name, but I went and approached her, and she told me that she was Nikoleta. And I asked her if she knew anybody who can help me to work in the store, and then she said, yes, I know somebody. And I said, who? And then she said, me. And I said, oh, you know how to knit really well? Yes, she said, they call me Flash. And then since that day, we've been working together for the last 9 years. And I have to thank Nikoleta here because a lot of the patterns that I'm able to post and to produce, they're being possible thanks to Nikoleta's hands, because sometimes my hands give up and I cannot complete things, so I cannot finish things, or I need to do it again and again. And so Nikoleta always do it and fix my problems and explain me things that I don't understand, because the language, if I really like an stitch, then I cannot really understand the instructions. All this time Nikoleta has been helping me and supporting me with all of that. So thanks to Nikoleta, I've been able to do a lot of the patterns that you guys have make or you're going to make. So here is Nikoleta.
Hi, I'm Nikoleta, and I loved working at Unit for the last 9 years. I have knit for most of my life. I started knitting when I was about 11 or 12 years old. My mother taught both my sister and I just went from there. I also love to do cross stitch. That's my other big love in life. And I also have multiple sclerosis. And knitting and crafting has just really helped me come to terms with my disease and disease progression, and it's helped me really center myself and just made me feel a little more calm every day.
Today we have a small agenda for you guys and for us that I can keep in track because I'm always lose my point. So number one, we're going to talk about the gauge. Nikoleta is going to explain us the gauge. Number two, we're going to talk about the structure of the sweater or the construction of a sweater. I'm going to explain that. Number three, Nikoleta is going to talk about how to start the sweater from the sleeve with the little lace in here. And then number four, I'm going to talk about how to start the sweater from the bottom up instead to start it from the sleeves. Then number five, we're going to talk about the small questions that we've been getting from people. And then number six, we're going to talk about what we're going to talk in the next video.
Okay, so now one of the most important things when you're making a sweater is to do a gauge swatch. And a lot of people skip it. Sometimes I skip it myself, but it's really, really important to make sure that it fits perfectly and also that you have the right amount of yarn. So there's 2 swatches that you should be doing for the sweater if you're doing the cardigan, which I'm going to be doing. So first, we want to do one that is back and forth, because you might get different gauges depending on what you do. So this is my back and forth swatch. What I like to do is I like to cast on exactly how many stitches I need for the gauge. In this case, it's 20 for this pattern. And then I like to add a little bit of a border around as well, just so it lays really flat. So I've started off with just a little garter border around all the edges, and 4 on this side, 4 on that side, and about 6 rows on the bottom. So we have a perfect gauge swatch here, and it measures 4 by 4. And then also, when you're doing in the round, you need to do the swatch in the round as well. Otherwise, your gauge will change. And you can see it's a little different, but not hugely so. So it's not going to interfere too much with this. But what I like to do with this, as you can see with all these little pieces hanging off here, I like to just knit across, and then instead of turning it or working in the round, I go back again and I knit, and that gives you all these little pieces that hang around the back. And you go back up and you just cut, and that way you don't have to do a lot of work. It's just a little shortcut that I really like to do. So these are my 2 gauge swatches for this, and they both measure perfectly 4 inches or 10 centimeters square. Okay, and just to show you a little close up, I have my tape measure here, and we have 10 centimeters there, pretty much exactly. This is on my flat swatch. And then we have 10 centimeters going that way too. That's why I like the border, because it really lays it flat for you. And then here I think it's a little bit off, but not super. Oh, yeah, just a little tiny bit, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. And again, right there.
Hi everyone, are you ready for me? I went to get ready for you. I changed my lipstick to red because it made me feel more confident. So now I'm going to explain you the structure of the sweater or the construction of the sweater. I'm going to do it first in the sweater, and then I'm going to do it in a piece of paper to make it totally clear. So this is the sweater already complete. This one was made with the cocoon yarn. This sweater is knit from the way down up. But in the instructions they ask you to do the sleeves first. So first you will do the 2 sleeves. Then you will do this part, the bottom part. And when you have the 2 sleeves done and the center part done, you're going to put it all together in the same needle. And in the back, you're going to have few rods of short rods. Don't worry about the short rods. We're going to do it with you very close to you, and we're going to explain it to you very well how to do those short rods. The short rods are very important because they're going to give a better shape to the sweater. It's going to fall way better on you. So after you put together the sleeves and the body, you're going to start to do the beautiful lace. And during you do the lace, it's going to be a couple of decreases in here. And after the decreases, we're going to get to a plain part where we're going to have again 2 short rods in here to make the part of the neck a little bit higher, and it's going to fall better in your shoulders. So for that, we have added here a couple of short rods, and then you're just going to do like about 3 rods of just knitting, and that is the whole structure of the sweater. The reason why I want to explain you the structure of the sweater is that it will serve you in another sweaters if this is the first time you're doing a sweater, and it's going to serve you to understand the instructions a little bit easy when you go in the magazine and read the instructions in the magazine. So now I'm going to draw it for you. Forgive my drawing because I have very ugly drawings, but I'm going to try to be clear in the drawings, then you have a better idea of the structure. So I'm going to be producing in the drawing each thing and putting them together, then you can see how the sweater is built. So Nikoleta talked about starting from the sleeves. After I explain you the structure of the sweater, I'm going to talk about how to start it from the bottom, because personally I like to start it better from the bottom and do the sleeves after, but that's really up to you. So anyways, so how we pass now to the table, and I can do a little drawing for you again about the structure of the sweater. Okay, I thought I was ready again, but I'm not ready. I got these like super nice pens that I really like, but I don't have a sharper. So I'm gonna have to use what I have in here. Then it's these 2 guys, and they're really nice too, but they're not as nice as that. So I'm gonna draw the sweater with this one. Forgive me my drawings. I'm going to do it like if we were doing the sweater. So first we're doing the sleeves. If the people who wanna do the sleeves first. So here's 1 sleeve. So when we finish 1 sleeve, we're going to start the 2nd sleeve. And of course, the sleeve was started in here. So I'm gonna make a little arrow showing you we started from this part, okay? So I have my 2 sleeves. They're all from bottom up, starting here to all the way up. So now I'm going to do the body. I already did the body here. I wish I was as fast in the knitting like it's in the drawing. But so I have the body here and I have the sleeves. So now I'm going to put my sleeve number 1 with my sleeve number 2 together in the needles with the body. This is for the pullover, no? So here I join them together with my needles, and let's say that this is my needles. So now they're together, and I'm going to start to knit around to make the yoke. So, and the yoke is gonna go all the way up here, and here in the yoke we're gonna have the beautiful lace, and during we do the lace, we're gonna be doing a couple of decreases here, And it's something very important that is going to happen when we join this is that we, in the back of this sweater, we're going to have a couple of short rods, and they're going to start here and here. It's going to be a few rods. Don't be scared of it because it's going to be very easy because we want to walk you again step by step. So we're going to keep going here with our decreases and our beautiful lace, and then we're going to get to the neck. Then it's going to be in here. And here we're going to have a couple of short rods for the neck, again, to erase the part in the back. And it's going to be very few rods here, and then your sweater is done. We talked a little bit about the structure of the pullover. Right now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the structure of the cardigan because it's pretty similar, but it's a little bit of a difference, and I want to make sure that everything is covered and all your questions are answered. So in this case, the only difference is that you are still going to do the sleeves first if you choose to it, and when you start the bottom part in this way, you don't gonna get it together, you don't going to get it together, you don't going to, jaw it together, you're just gonna leave it open, and you're gonna be knitting from here to here, from here to here, like you're just gonna go all the way around without ever knit in a circular base. So, and it's exactly the same. When you have your sleeves and your body, you're going to put this together, these three parts together, and then you're gonna go back and do the same short rods, and then you're gonna do the beautiful lace and do the creases in here, and then when you get here, you're gonna again do a couple of short rods in the back, but still this is always open. So, and when we're done with the sweater to this point, this band doesn't going to be here. So what we're gonna do in the end for the cardigan is pick up here some stitches and here, and we're going to do the bottom band, and we're going to explain to you how to do this step by step. So the little structure of the cardigan is very, very little differences, but I did want to show it to you because I don't know how many people are going to be doing the cardigan and how many people are going to be doing the pullover. The cardigan is almost the same thing, but is open in the center, no? Oh, first I'm going to start with the sleeves, I'm sorry. So we're going to have our two sleeves, sleeve number 1 and sleeve number 2 already done with the beautiful leaves in here. And then we're going to do the body. The body is going to be totally open. And so here is the body that I already added here with the opening. But to make it maybe a little bit easy, we will say that the body is all the way like that. No? It's a big rectangle. Then when you folded it, it's ended like this. And in a little part of here, when you get to a number of stitches here and a number that I don't have in here, you're going to add your sleeves and you're going to start to knit around. Don't worry, because we do going to explain this step by step, how to join around your sleeve number 1, your sleeve number 2, and the body of the sweater. So here again, we're gonna join together, do a couple of short rods, and then do the jog, and then in the end here, do our neck. And so that's all it is. I just want to have a little bit of explanation of how is the structure. So everything is from bottom up, and basically you want to be knitting these things in 3 pieces: sleeves, body, and then join it together. Then you're going to start the jog. Then you're going to finalize with your neck. So if you have any questions, email us the questions. We're going to be totally happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the sleeves and the lace. I personally do magic loop, so I'll show you that, but I'm also going to show you how to do it on double pointed needles as well. So this is the first sleeve, and I'll just put it on hold for now to show you. This is just the lace, and then you're going to go into plain knitting, and we're going to increase into the full sleeve. So I'm going to show you some close-ups on how to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to cast on for the sleeves, and then do a little bit of the lace as well. I'm going to start with magic loop, but I'm going to show you the double pointed needles as well. So first we have a long tail cast on we have to do. I'm going to be doing the extra small, so that is 40 stitches. So just, you can also use 2 different balls to do this, but I only have 1 at the moment. So what I like to do is just wrap my yarn around however many times I need, in this case 40. And then I also just give myself a little bit extra because I hate getting to the end and not having enough. So to do the long tail cast on, you kind of just place it like this over your thumb and your index finger and grasp it with the other fingers. And you're going to take your needle and go up through the middle and then towards the thumb, through there, and around the index finger, and then through the hole with the thumb. And you have your first 2 stitches, and then every other stitch to cast on, you're going to be back in this position. You're going to go to the thumb and over to the index, and then through this little opening right here. We're going to cast on 40 times. Okay, so we have our 40 stitches on the needle now, and I'm just going to start with the first row, which is going to be a purl row. We're going to do magic loop, like I said. And these are on the smaller needles. You need a 3.75 and a 4mm for this, or whichever your gauge says you need. Okay, so I've purled my first row English, but I usually knit continental. So I'm going to knit the next row because we're going to have a garter cuff here, which in the round you knit 1 row and you purl 1 row to get garter stitch. So I'm going to knit continental like I usually do for the next couple rows, and then we'll go back and forth between English and continental for the lace to show everyone. Okay, so I brought my magazine in here so I can have my chart here next to me. We're also going to need a couple of stitch markers here. One, I'm going to mark the beginning of the round. This is a removable one. You can also just put one at the very beginning, 1 stitch in, just to remind us that's the beginning of the round. And I'm going to swap out my needle tips here because we're going up to 4mm now. And you don't need to have stitch markers, but some people like to have them just so they know that they are not skipping over any important parts in the lace. So we're going to start the lace now. I'm going to show you where to place your markers. So we're going to start with the bottom of the chart on the right side and go from right to left. So we're going to knit 3, and then we have knit 2 together. We're going to yarn over and knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit. and then we're going to knit 2. And now that we're at the end of the repeat, this is where we're going to pop on one of our markers. We're just going to repeat that chart one more time. I'm going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and then we're going to knit 2. Now mine ends at the end of the needle, so what I'm going to do is steal one from the next side. I'm going to place the marker there because our knit 2 ends that repeat. And we're going to start again. So that's the beginning of the chart again. And we're going to end on our knit 2, and because it's at the very end, I'm not going to put that final marker on because we don't really need it. And we've done one row of the chart now. And basically how the chart works is we have one row of lace, and we have one row of what I call rest knitting, which is just a plain row. In this case, it's a knit row. So you get to have a little bit of a break in between all of your lace. Okay, so we've done our rest row, our knit row, and now we're going to start on the second row of the lace. So that is knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, slip, slip, knit, and knit 1. And you'll notice that when you get to the end of the row in the repeat, you perfectly match up with the stitch marker. If you don't, you've made a mistake there, and that's why it's great to have stitch markers throughout the row, because you've made a mistake in that section. You don't have to go hunting around for it for who knows how long to find it. Oops. Okay, we are now on row 5 of the chart. I'm going to switch to English style just to show you a little bit. I'm a lot slower on this though, a little more fumbly for me. So we got knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2. We're going to end on a slip, slip, knit in that repeat. Oops. And we've made it to the marker and there's no other stitches, so that means that we've done it correctly. Okay, so as we come up to this marker here, we're going to knit 2 together, and there's a yarn over at the end of the repeat here. So when we yarn over it, we want to make sure that yarn over stays on that side of the marker, doesn't sneak over into the next repeat. Otherwise we could potentially have some errors there, and it might mess you up when you're working on your next repeat. Okay, now I'm going to switch to DPNs, double pointed needles, just to show you what that's going to look like. I really prefer the magic loop, but I want to show everyone, just so everyone knows how to do it. So unfortunately this row is kind of a bad, actually I'm going to do the next row because this row is a little bit bad, because it has the yarn over at the end of it. Okay, so I'm going to switch over the DPNs now. We have our plain knit row. I just want to make sure that you kind of equally lay these guys out. So I've actually decided to do is take off the markers, and I just have 1 repeat per needle here, and I'm going to be working with the 5th one. I feel like that's going to be much easier on the DPNs without all the markers sliding around too. So now we're at the beginning of the row again because we have our little stitch marker here, and we are working on row number 9. Okay, so now we're on the final row of the chart. We're almost there. We're going to knit 4 stitches. And then we have the central double decrease that needs to be done to kind of close up this leaf a little bit. So we're going to yarn over, slip 1, knit the next 2 stitches together, and then pass that slip stitch over top of the other two. And you'll see that it's closed it up there. So now we're going to yarn over and then make our way to the next little leaf, and we're going to close that guy up too. Okay, and then the last leaf is about to be closed up. We're going to yarn over, slip that first stitch as if we're going to knit it, go into those other two and knit those two together, and then lift that other guy up over top, and there we go. We've closed off that last leaf. We're going to finish up the round by yarning over and knitting the last three. And that is the end of the chart. There's just one more where I want to show you. Actually, if you're going to be using double pointed needles and you want to use your markers, I highly recommend doing this. I just kind of did this on a whim and I actually really like it. Each one of the repeats of the chart perfectly fit on one needle. You just need to make sure you have 5 double pointed needles in order to do that. But I think that's a really great way if you don't want to, fiddle around with your markers. You can very easily do that. So the next row is we're going to knit the entire row, except we're going to stop 1 stitch before the end of it. And then we're going to do a small increase, and then we're moving on to the rest of the sleeve. So we are 1 stitch before the end of the round, and we need to increase 1. So we're going to go, there's a little bar right there. We're going to go into the back of it and just pick that up right there, and you're going to knit into it from the front. It might be a little tight. You're going to knit into it from the front, and we have made an extra stitch. I'll show you how to do that with English style too. We're going to take the left needle and go in from the back to the front, and we're going to put the left needle into the front of that stitch and knit it. And we have made 1. And that's it for the sleeves. After that, we're just going to be knitting plain, knit every single row, and every 8th or 10th row, depending on your size, we're going to be increasing 1 stitch basically at the front and the end until we reach a larger number of stitches in order to close up the yoke together with the body. So that is it. That is your little lace sleeve there, the beginning of your lace sleeve.
Now we're going to talk about another way to start the sweater, and that was one of the questions that people have. Can I start my sweater not from the sleeves but from the belly, from the bottom? And I am an expert on that because I never start my sweaters in the sleeves. I'm very lazy, so I like to enjoy the part that is not thinking. I like to enjoy that part where I can have my husband talking to me and I just like knitting and he talking, or he washing something that I don't really like to wash, but I'm still there, but I'm not there. So I'm going to start it from the bottom. I'm going to use something from my stash that I really like. It's from Chin Fiber. We did a sweater with this. It's called Together Apart. We're gonna have a photo of this sweater there. It's a beautiful sweater, and I did it with this color. I really like this color, and so I saved it for me in enough quantity to have a sweater. So it's beautiful. I'm a little bit allergic to the mohair, but I just cannot resist this color. It's like a little bit of yellow with a little bit things of pink on it that I really get me. I really like it. So, and I'm using my little bag from Unit is our new bag. This doesn't mean to be commercial, but I'm gonna show it to you. It's made fairly trade by a co-op of single mothers from El Salvador. It's leather to closet, and I really like it because this project bag is going to be good enough for the whole sweater. So this is what I'm gonna be using for my sweater. Here I have my needles. They're $3.75. I already cast on 176, and I have here my little stitch marker. I'm gonna put it in here, and I'm just gonna engage it together. How you would say that, Nicoleta?
Join it together.
Join it together. I'm sorry,
Being sure you don't twist it.
Yeah, I don't want to twist it. I have done that before, and I have done it. When I did it before, I did it multiple times in the same day, so it was very weird. I guess maybe I was tired. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm gonna cut this. Normally I do it with scissors, but I don't have any here. I cut it because sometimes I start to knit from the wrong side of the thread, and then I'm like, oh my god, I have to go back now, and it's like not pleasant, you know. So I just trying to see that all the stitches are in line. And I don't have my glasses because I have hundreds of glasses, the ones under $10 glasses that they're selling charters, but I never managed to find them. So that's why I have so many here. So I'm gonna put my little marker here, and I'm gonna engage it together. I think this is gonna be fine. Something really important, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. It's gonna be one knit, one purl. Just make sure that this beginning is really tight. Because if you don't tie it, it's always look really loose. When it's look like a little ladder there that doesn't look really good. So make it really tight, especially in the second stitch. If you tie it up in the second stitch, it's going to be way more together. So second stitch more tight, and I'm just going to go on to do my ribbing. It's 1.5 inch of ribbing. I'm going to do 2 inches of ribbing because I want to wear it short. Keep in mind that in the pattern you can do it long or short. I'm gonna do it short because I really want to wear it with a skirt, and I like them like short. But the instructions are there for long and short. And so we're just gonna do ribbing, knitting, purling until we get to 1.5 inch. And then I'm going to change these needles to another number. I think it's 4 millimeters when I finish the ribbing. You can do the ribbing the size you want. Although in the book it says 1.5 inch. I'm going to be doing my ribbing a little longer. In the magazine, oh, by the way, I'm going to be doing the size small. The ribbing, they're asking you for 1.5 inch. I'm going to do 2 inches because I want my sweater to be particularly short, because I want to be wearing it with a skirt that I'm going to be showing you in the next show. It's very cool, very pretty. So I'm going to do it a little bit longer. Keep in mind that I'm doing my short, but in the magazine is the two versions. You can make it short, you can make it longer, you can make it a pullover, you can make it a cardigan. So and I'm just gonna keep going until I finish my ribbing, and then I'm going to change it to needles number 4. Now I would like to go to some questions that we've been having through email. They're very good questions, and they're not very difficult to answer. I mean, the first one was answered here. Some people have been asking us if they can start from the bottom down and instead to do the sleeves. So that question has been answered. Yes, you can start from the body, and you can leave the sleeves for the second part. So that was one very interesting question. We do have another question that Nikoleta is gonna be answered, because I think she's easy to understand without my accent. So some lady sent us a photo saying that if this would be the size for her to do or no. And Nikoleta have a very good answer for that.
Yeah, so everyone has been asking about ease in this pattern. And in this pattern, it actually tells you how much ease is built into it. So it says it's 2 inches of positive ease. So the best way to find the size that you want to do is to look at the finished measurements of all of your, you have your bust measurement, you have your body length, the other underarm, sleeve length, all of that, and pick the one that you want to knit. So for example, the extra small, the finished measurement is 34.5 inches. And so if you are typically an extra small, that's going to be about 32 inches, and then you have 2 inches of positive ease. Or my best way to do it is just to pick the amount of inches that you want for your finished bust measurement, and then go with that size.
Yeah. What was the another question?
Oh, if you wanted to do substitutions, like other types of yarn. So the best way to do that is, of course, do your gauge swatch. Nobody wants to do it, but you got to do it if you want to make substitutions, especially. So definitely do your gauge swatch and in the yarn that you want to make it in. And then you can have a better idea of where you want to substitute.
Oh my God, it's here where I have to confess all my secrets. I don't like to do gauge. I don't do gauge. I just pray that it's going to work.
I don't like it either, but I do it because I've been bit, okay? Yeah. I've had problems before.
Me too. I have like 25 or 30 things that they never were finished, and they're like, I don't know. But I just really want to get into it. When I do my patterns, I never like make any plans. I just go into it, and I just take off and put on, and it takes me longer, but that's the way I work. I cannot imagine have all the plan done before in paper. I have to have the action happening with the needles, and that's who I am. That's how I do things. It takes way longer.
And sometimes you end up with a bigger size.
And it hurts your hands. But, well, we are the way we are, and we have to go with what we are, no? Mm-hmm. So, what else we were going to talk? The final thing?
Oh, just also other substitutions. So, this calls for a DK weight yarn, and you can use a DK weight yarn, or you can use like a fingering and a mohair like Claudia is using to get the DK weight gauge, for example. Yeah,
and you don't need to go and buy the yarn for this sweater. If you have any DK, you can use a DK. If you have a fingering and lace at home, you can put them together and match like very nice colors there. That can make it more interesting. You can use any sack yarn with a mohair, sack yarn with lace, fingering with lace, and you can. I good thing that you can even do it with a worsted.
Oh yeah.
But you have to do your gauge, and maybe if you're going to do that, send us a question. If you're going to do that, I think maybe you can go for a size smaller. Another thing that I want to say, and this is very important, if you really want your sweater to fit, is the measurements that we give you in the magazine or that we give you in the patterns, the measurements and they're very general, but we're all different. And a very short bust, and so everything that I use is really short. So for me to get where I want to get, I probably need after my sleeve all the way down, probably just 7 inches. During some people need 10 because they have a very long bust. No? So take this in account, and take this in account for the requirement of yarn. Everything is general in the magazine. They usually ask you for more. If you have extra and you're short like me, don't complain. They didn't try to make you buy more. It's just that we all have different bodies, and that's how it goes. But if you want to fit it to yourself, these sweaters are very easy to fit to your like, especially because we're going bottom down. So you stop there where you feel that you want it. You stop there and keep going with the rest, with the join it and start the lace. So don't be concerned about the next show, the next recording that we do is we're going to be talking about short rods. I know that's painful for some people. I used to hate it. I used to beg Nikoleta to do my short rods. But now I'm begging for short rods. Like I want more short rods. It's just very funny.
It just fits better.
It feel better. It's make everything feel better, and you get the confidence to do it. And then when you understand them, you can go into any piece of garment that you make it and make them feel better on your body. You can make it longer in the back. longer in the shoulders here, in the, how you say here, this part in the back, or a little bigger in the neck, or maybe a little bit lower in the chest. So we're going to explain you very well how to do short rods, and we're going to explain you very, very well how to put together your whole sweater, how to put a slip number 1, the body, and a slip number 2. So just be relaxed, enjoy the simple part, and it's just like the body, if you decide to do the body, or the sleeves. Keep in mind that the videos are going to remind there, so if you're in a different speed, you can always go back and see us, and we're going to be very happy to answer any questions in our email. Then we can bring them up here, and then we can give answer to all of your questions. Okay, before we leave, we want to tell you what is in the back here, because we got an email and somebody's asking us what is in the back of our wall. And since Nikoleta is an expert cross stitcher, and I'm not an expert, but I just do my little ones here and there, so Nikoleta will talk us a little bit about Sansuma Street patterns. And this is 4 cities that I'm having here. And Nikoleta,
yeah. So Satsuma Street does these beautiful, beautiful little cities here. They're called Pretty Little, and then insert your city name. Of course, we have our Toronto one up here, very important. And we also, there's multiple different cities. She probably has around 20, maybe 30 different cities that you can do. We have several kits as well.
Little India is pretty exciting.
Yes, that one's really
actually.
Cool. Yeah, Pretty Little India.
And Tokyo, I think.
Tokyo,
and I think she have.
She has like Amsterdam. She has like
some of them they're really
Dublin.
interesting. Shanghai, I think she have.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know, but they're really exciting. They're really cool. The reason why we're telling you what we have right now on the wall is because next week we're gonna try to show you another crafting that we have done in the store. And this beautiful feather is come from Japan, and I put it here because I make a mistake when I was putting the things, and I didn't like it there, so I thought, to remove it is gonna be very difficult. So I put this beautiful feather that I think is gorgeous. It's from Japan, and for the next show, if you guys can guess what it is, would be a good idea. I haven't used. I thought it was just decoration. I thought it was very beautiful for my table. But I want next recording that we do, I'm going to tell you what is this for. Okay, thanks for being with us today. It was a pleasure. I hope that we explained to the best of our abilities, and I hope that best of our abilities is in a way that you have understood. And I hope that we're getting way better and better. But thanks for being with us this week. And the next video is going to be in 2 weeks, because we want to give you a little time then you can start to knit your sweater. We do want to have another video about another sweaters, but for the knit along, we're gonna meet in 2 weeks. People send us photos, send us questions, and we're gonna be showing you in this video a lot of the ones that they're being complete. And Luca is the camera guy. He is gonna add a couple of good photos of the sweater, and a couple of beautiful sweaters and some of our clients have done. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.